We are often taught a beautiful, dangerous lie. If you just love a toxic person a little more and endure their behavior a little longer and pour enough grace into them, they will eventually see your worth and change. This graphic illustrates the reality of that effort. You are pouring water into a dead tree with a cracked pot. Meet our subject, highly empathetic, patient, and completely exhausted. They are caught in a dynamic where they give constantly, forgive repeatedly, and get absolutely nothing back, except new demands. They feel trapped because society tells them their patience makes them a good person. Let's break down what is actually happening. What our subject thinks is spiritual maturity is actually toxic passivity. Notice the column on the left. It is the deep fear of conflict, dressed up as a virtue. It means swallowing your own instincts and accepting rehearsed, empty apologies just to preserve a false peace. Endlessly forgiving someone who continually violates your dignity without requiring them to change is not a sign of emotional strength. As this graphic states clearly, it is complicity. You are actively enabling the behavior that is destroying you. When you constantly suppress your own survival instincts to appease someone else, the body keeps a record. Your nervous system is forced into a state of permanent, quiet hypervigilance, and the physical exhaustion begins to hollow you out. This chart maps the exact trajectory of a person losing themselves. It begins right here, with rationalization. You see the red flags, but you make excuses for them. You give the benefit of the doubt over and over again to avoid a fight. Then you hit step 2. Your soul knows the truth of what is happening to you, but your brain forces you to silence it. You end up entirely trapped in severe cognitive dissonance, exhausted by the effort of pretending things are fine. Finally, the line drops into internalized anger. The alarm system you suppressed turns inward as depression, leading to full self-erasure. You vanish from your own life, becoming nothing more than an accessory to someone else's narrative. Playing the martyr does not save the relationship. It simply demands that you sacrifice your entire identity to protect the fragile ego of the person hurting you. So why does this happen? If you are giving them so much compassion, why are they immune to it? To understand that, we have to look at the psychological machinery operating inside the abuser. This diagram exposes the architecture of a narcissist's false self. Notice this bright, solid outer layer. This is the mask. It is a highly curated, grandiose identity built to demand admiration they haven't earned and to project a superiority they don't possess. Right beneath that mask lies the defense system: gaslighting, deflection, and projection. The moment you ask them to take accountability for an action, these mechanisms deploy instantly to shift the blame back onto you. And they deploy those defenses to protect this, the inner core. It is a fragile, chaotic void. They are terrified of shame, incapable of genuine vulnerability, and unable to accept their own imperfections. This graphic shows exactly how that void interprets your empathy. They do not see your compassion as a gift. They see it as a resource to be drained, a weakness to exploit, to maintain control without offering anything in return. To heal, a person must first admit they are broken.
True transformation requires humility, and the narcissist's entire psychological structure is engineered to destroy humility. That is why they cannot be loved into health. This flowchart tracks the mechanics of the relationship. It is an infinite loop. It starts in phase 1 with grand promises and charm, inevitably moving into phase 2, where they subtly or overtly violate your boundaries. Then comes the apology and the reset. But look at the dark circle in the very center. Your willingness to forgive them, without demanding any sustained structural change, is the fuel that powers this entire machine. Your forgiveness is what allows the cycle to restart. But humans aren't built to endure an infinite loop of exploitation. Eventually, emotional pressure builds to critical mass, tolerance fails, and the illusion snaps. This diagram offers a radical way to view that breaking point. That intense, suffocating pain you feel at the end of the relationship is not a punishment. It is the alarm system of your own spirit, cracking through the denial. The collapse of this dynamic is actually an act of mercy. It is a violent disruption designed to wake you up, pull you out of the wreckage, and force you to protect yourself. Recovery begins when you stop negotiating with their illusions. You abandon passivity entirely, and you start utilizing the most effective weapon available, objective reality. This visual demonstrates the shift in power. When you calmly and consistently tell the truth, you become an unshatterable mirror. You force them to look at their own actions. Because their ego is entirely artificial, this level of truth is an existential threat to them. You enforce that truth by setting boundaries. As this slide outlines, boundaries are not loud arguments or aggressive attacks. They are neutral, quiet limits that eliminate the ambiguity the manipulator relies on to control you. When you establish a firm line, the abuser will escalate. They will rage. But beneath that rage is a profound, intolerable feeling of helplessness. They realize, perhaps for the first time, that they no longer dictate your reality. Holding your boundary is the moment you put down the weight. You stop carrying a cross built out of their lives, and you step out of their manufactured drama. This graph charts what happens as time passes. The narcissist's grand illusion takes immense energy to maintain. As the years go on, their inconsistencies mount, their charm decays, and they leave a visible trail of broken relationships. But look at the solid cube on the right. While their performed image collapses, you are free to build authentic success. You build it quietly, on a foundation of discipline and integrity, something that survives perfectly well without needing an audience to validate it. This diagram highlights the ultimate lesson. Authentic love requires sharp discernment. It means judging a person by their long-term behavioral patterns, not their rehearsed apologies or their potential. Healing does not require you to extract an apology from the person who hurt you. It simply requires you to stop suffering in silence, step out of the shadows, and accept the facts as they are. You are not made to be minimized, gaslit, or drained. It is time to reclaim exactly what you are never meant to surrender: your clarity, your worth, your voice, and your peace.